But we do continue to follow more unrest from last night. We were just telling you about it before the break. A man, according to DHS, Department of Homeland Security, was shot in the leg by immigration enforcement. DHS saying that a Venezuelan man here illegally fled a targeted traffic stop, crashed his vehicle, and then barricaded himself inside a home, along with two others who the DHS says attacked the agent with a shovel and broomstick, or shovel/broomstick. We've seen it both ways, and that the agent fired a defensive shot at the man they were targeting and shot him in the leg. He was taken to the hospital and is expected to be okay. Minneapolis police say that the two accused of assaulting the federal agent are in custody. DHS just updated us and let us know that all three now are in custody, the man they were targeting and then the other two who were apprehended last night as well. So minutes after the shooting, though, we just kind of showed you how those protesters were starting to gather at the scene. Minneapolis police actually characterizing this as violent. They say that people were throwing things, fireworks, rocks, ice chunks at the agents. So there was tear gas there. You saw crowds disperse. You may have also seen or heard from a Minneapolis family who was there in their vehicle during some of this chaos. A couple and their 6 children, ages 11 years old all the way down to 6 months. They were there and they wanted to share some of what happened to them last night. We spoke with them a little bit this morning, last night, and then this morning on the phone. The father spoke with us on scene after emergency responders were able to take his children to the hospital. So we wanted to play you first a little bit of last night's scene before we bring them in for a conversation.
Officers threw flashbangs and tear gas in my car and made I got 6 kids in the car. But my 6-month-old can't even breathe. My 2-year-old flipped out the damn car. This was flipped over. My car filled with tear gas. I'm trying to pull my kids out the car.
Sean Jackson and Destiny Jackson join us now. He was the gentleman we spoke with last night, and Destiny was there in the vehicle as well. Thank you guys for joining us today to talk through what happened last night. We appreciate it. Destiny, when we talked to you this morning, you were saying that your family lives just a few minutes away from where this happened in the Hawthorne neighborhood. Can we first kind of step back and tell us about what was happening? You know, how did you end up in that neighborhood?
Well, I live in the neighborhood. I had just left South Minneapolis from attending my oldest child's basketball game at Anderson Middle School. And on the way home, we stopped at our neighborhood grocery store to get dinner, actually. And we continued our path home, which happens to be like the way through the protest. We weren't aware that a protest was happening. And once we got that way, we did see lights and stuff, and we continued our path to go home because it wasn't blocked off or anything. And in the mix of passing it, my husband stopped, and asked what was going on and stuff like that. And there was people there, like, just explaining to him what happened.
And Sean, tell me a little bit about how your family's doing today. We understand that, I don't know how many of the children went to the hospital last night. Tell us about that.
3 of the children went to the hospital, just from, of course, my infant baby, because he did stop breathing and I had to give him mouth-to-mouth and CPR to bring him back. And then my 11-year-old and my 7-year-old who has asthma, so they had to be treated. And there was me and the father who had to be treated also.
Tell me a little bit about, because people I think want to know, obviously you were on your way home, you said, from this game. What made you want to get out and stop and kind of, not just keep going? What were you guys what was the conversation had in the vehicle?
Well, after we had stopped and he had asked what was going on, we in the mix of all of that, I seen my mother. Now, I wanted to get her up out of there before anything did happen, because as we were going through, it was not violent. Like, we were able to pass through. And I seen her. She recently got a congestive heart failure diagnosis yesterday morning. So I just wanted her, just not to be there, because I didn't know if it was going to be violent or not. It took a couple, maybe 20 to 30 minutes to get her up out of there, because how she felt so deeply about what happened. And so as we were leaving, actually, ICE were coming our way in vehicles, and a couple of them proceeded to start screaming in my window, and they were saying, get out of here, get the F out of here. And we were telling them, like, if you guys will move away from our car, we can get up out of here, which is what we're trying to do. Like, you guys are in the way. We know what happened when when Renee tried to move, get out the way. You guys said that he hit you when she didn't. So he didn't want to move the car. He wanted to wait for them to move. And as they proceeded to move past the car, once they got to the back of the car, they rolled a tear gas bomb under the car.
How quickly, can you characterize how quickly this escalated? How long were you there? Did you sense things were starting to turn? Were there opportunities to try to leave before it escalated?
We did sense things were trying to take a turn for the worse. When, in the mix of us being there with those 20 minutes, Minneapolis Police Department was dismissed. ICE agents took over everything, and a couple minutes after that, we seen people with like yellow vests or jackets coming up behind ICE agents, and that's when everybody was starting to like disperse. And so we were in the car, trying to get out, watching that happen, but ICE was blocking our exit.
Did you see any Minneapolis police say that turned violent, and that there were people who were throwing rocks and ice chunks at the agents, things like that? Did you see anything like that?
I mean, in the midst of all of that happening, there were a lot of like explosive stuff going off. Not sure if it was coming from the ICE agents or if it was coming from protesters. But I did not physically see any protesters. I didn't see them throw anything at ICE agents. And
tell me, so there was hospitalization here. Tell me about sort of any injuries or what happened to the children. And you said, when I talked to you earlier, 11 years old is the oldest, and then six months is the youngest, right? And then you've got some twins, 4-year-olds. But so there's children in the car. Tell me about what happened kind of to them.
When we did finally get out the car, of course, my baby was lifeless, so I did do the CPR and mouth to mouth, and there was multiple people in the house who were pouring milk all over my other kid's face and trying to get the tear gas off of them. There were also other people in the house who were on the phone with EMS trying to get them to get there as soon as possible. There was also someone else on the phone giving me directions on what to do. So there was a lot of people from the community were there trying to help us in that situation.
Have you guys been out protesting before, or do you plan to go out in the future?
No, we have never been out protesting before. Of course, we have reason to, because everybody, we need to stand up for our community. But it was our first time, as we weren't really there protesting. But I did answer a few questions while I was out there, so I guess you can say I was, if you want to. But really, I'm traumatized. I really don't want to, but with this happening to my family, it gives me the drive to do so, because it's just crazy. My kids were innocent. I was innocent. My husband was innocent. This shouldn't have happened. We were just trying to go home.
And and we talked about this earlier, and in all fairness, just gotta kind of reiterate this question, because people are going to say, well, you were there, you stopped. What would you say to them? You got your kids there, why not kind of just get your mom and keep going? Or what would you say to them?
I tried to, and I was determined to get her out, and I did not want to leave without her, because what happened to us could have happened to her too, which she was a few feet away from my car when it happened, and she was walking to her car. Our car went up, and so all I would say is, you can't, even, we're innocent, we didn't deserve that. We were passing through, and we were just trying to protect another family member.
Do you think people have an idea of what it's like to be kind of going down there and in those situations, how quickly things can turn? I mean, we see it on TV, those who have not been there in person. What would you say to people who are thinking, I want to go down there, I want to protest, I want to, exercise my First Amendment rights? And we're talking to the people who are not trying to be agitators, the people who are really just trying to exercise their First Amendment rights legally. What would you say to them about kind of what happened to you last night? Is there anything you would do differently? What would be your message?
I would say be safe, have an exit plan, pay attention to their body language, pay attention to your surroundings, because it all can turn really fast and you never know.
All right, Destiny and Sean Jackson, thanks for spending some time with us and telling us a little bit more about your experience from last night. We appreciate it.
Thank you so much.
All right.